Hello, Rams fans. It's been a busy week behind the scenes for the Los Angeles Rams, and man, I've got some important news and updates to share with you. I have to admit, I'm feeling really confident about the Rams this season. The coaching staff is working hard to build an unstoppable team capable of going all the way and winning the Super Bowl. If you believe the Rams will make it happen this season, smash that like button. And if you're a true fan, drop a comment saying, "Go Rams! Nothing's going to stop us." Now, I need your attention, because the first piece of news, unfortunately, isn't great. The Los Angeles Rams have officially kicked off their 2026 training camp, but even before full practices began, the team was forced to make two significant roster moves due to injuries. This isn't the kind of news fans wanted to hear right at the start of preparations, especially when every player is fighting for a roster spot and trying to get up to speed before the regular season begins. The most notable name involved is offensive lineman Justin Dedich. The Rams have placed Dedich on the non-football injury (NFI) list. This designation is significant because it indicates that the injury did not occur during team activities or at the team's facilities. While the organization hasn't released specific details about the injury itself, this classification carries important implications. The good news is that Dedich can be removed from the NFI list at any point during training camp if he receives medical clearance. That means there's still plenty of time for him to return and compete for a spot before the regular season starts. However, if he remains on the NFI list when the Rams make their final cuts to set the 53-man roster, the rules become much stricter. In that scenario, he would automatically be required to miss at least the first 6 weeks of the regular season. That would certainly not be ideal for Los Angeles. Dedich has become an important depth piece along the offensive line, and every quality backup matters over the course of a long NFL season. Offensive line injuries are almost inevitable, so having experienced depth available has always been one of the keys to surviving an entire schedule. The Rams will now be hoping his recovery progresses quickly enough for him to avoid that extended absence. The second injury-related move involves cornerback Alzillian Hamilton. He has been placed on the physically unable to perform list, better known as the PUP list. Unlike Dedich's situation, Hamilton's designation simply means he is not yet physically ready to participate in football activities at the start of camp. There is still reason for optimism. Hamilton can return to practice as soon as he passes the required physical examination during training camp. If everything goes well medically, he could still compete for a roster spot before the regular season arrives. But just like the NFI situation, there is an important deadline. If Hamilton is not activated before the Rams finalize their 53-man roster, league rules require him to miss at least the first 4 regular season games. Many Rams fans had already started paying attention to Hamilton after he appeared in several early roster projections. He was viewed as one of the interesting young defensive backs fighting for an opportunity to make the team. So this injury slows down what could have been an important summer for his development. Training camp always brings unexpected setbacks, and unfortunately, these are the first 2 for Los Angeles. The coaching staff will now have to adjust while monitoring both players closely over the coming weeks. But that's only part of the story surrounding the Rams this week. The biggest conversation continues to center around star wide receiver Puka Nacua. One of the biggest questions entering camp was whether Nacua would report while waiting for a new contract. After all, he is entering the final season of his rookie deal, despite establishing himself as one of the NFL's premier receivers. Many players around the league have chosen to hold out or limit participation during contract negotiations, especially when a massive extension appears to be on the horizon. That is not happening with Puka Nacua. Head coach Sean McVay confirmed that Nacua reported to training camp and will fully participate in practices despite not yet receiving a new contract. There will be no holdout and no hold-in as camp begins. That decision sends a strong message about Nacua's commitment to his teammates and to preparing for another season. From a football perspective, few people question his value. Based on today's receiver market, many believe his next contract could exceed $43 million per season, with around $100 million guaranteed if he continues producing at an elite level. But football production is no longer the only factor being discussed. The reality is that Nacua's off-season has included significant off-field challenges. He is currently facing a civil lawsuit involving allegations that he bit a woman during a New Year's Eve incident. His attorney has denied key allegations, describing the incident differently and rejecting accusations of anti-Semitic remarks. The civil case remains unresolved. Because of those ongoing legal matters, another question has started to gain attention around the league. Could the NFL eventually issue discipline under its personal conduct policy? At this point, there has been no announced suspension. However, reports indicate that the league could still review the situation under its personal conduct policy, leaving open the possibility of future discipline depending on the outcome of its evaluation. That uncertainty has naturally created additional speculation as training camp begins. This puts both the Rams and Nacua in an unusual position. On one hand, he is one of the most important players on the roster and one of the league's elite receivers. The Rams clearly expect him to practice and prepare as usual. On the other hand, contract negotiations become much more complicated when uncertainty exists about potential league discipline. Teams always evaluate every factor before committing record-setting guaranteed money, especially when there are unresolved off-field situations. None of this changes the fact that whenever Nacua steps onto the practice field, he remains one of the biggest reasons for optimism inside the Rams organization. His production has been remarkable, and Sean McVay has repeatedly demonstrated confidence in his ability to help lead this offense. Now, the focus shifts back to football, while everyone waits to see how both situations develop. Will contract talks accelerate? Will the NFL complete its review? Those answers may not come immediately, but they will remain among the biggest storylines throughout training camp. So, as the Rams officially begin preparing for the 2026 season, there are already several important developments worth watching. Justin Dedich's recovery timeline will determine whether the offensive line keeps one of its valuable depth pieces available early in the season. Alzillian Hamilton will try to work his way off the PUP list and continue competing for a roster spot. And perhaps most importantly, all eyes will remain on Puka Nacua, who is balancing contract negotiations with unresolved off-field questions while continuing to fully participate in camp. The season hasn't even started yet, but the Rams already have several important situations that could shape the weeks ahead. Now, I want to hear from you. Which of these developments concerns you the most? Are you more worried about the injury situations? Or do you believe the biggest storyline is everything surrounding Puka Nacua and his future? Share your thoughts in the comments, and let's talk about what all of this could mean for the Rams as training camp continues.